The first two races here at Donington, for example, have the Chevrolet Camaro of Peter Hall on pole position.
It's an absolutely great series, yes. I mean, Roger's put in an inordinate amount of time with his team to get it to this level. And, of course, he's doing all the owners of these cars a great favour by putting, you know, a lot of value back on them, which is, you know, very important.
Charterhouse Heritage Grand Touring Car Challenge race of the season is a single-driver 20-minute sprint race. Andy Rouse is on pole in Pete Hall's Camaro. Rick Lloyd's Morgan alongside him. Arthur Thurtle shares the second row of the grid with the E-Type driven by John Bussell. The third row of the grid has Peter Wheeler's Aston Martin lining up alongside Phil Hollins Morgan. The lights go out for the rolling start. They rumble away. On board with the series sponsor Andy Jenkinson with his Camaro, and it's a very crowded track ahead of him. John Bussell diving up the inside in the E-Type. Very experienced, very quick driver, John Bussell. One to watch on a rather greasy circuit here. It's been raining just a little bit before the race got underway, and that's going to make the circuit pretty treacherous for the very powerful cars. On board now with Andy Jenkinson. That's Phil Hollins Morgan just nipping ahead of us. Meantime, Randy Rouse leads as they go down through the Craner curves for the first time. Rick Lloyd has a go on the outside line there. John Bussell third, Thurtle is fourth. In fifth place now is the Can family Aston Martin. Ricky Can doing the sprint race. And the cars they accelerate for the first time up through Schwann's curve. There's a spin. That, I'm afraid, is the triumph of Richard White losing it. Now John Bussell, look in the E-Type, making a move on the inside. They're all over the curve to try to go ahead of Rick Lloyd as they turn their way through the double apex right-hander of Coppice. Bob Searles, Aston Martin going through, pursued by Jamie Booth's delectable TVR Griffith as the leaders then accelerate down towards the chicane. It's Rouse ahead, but now look at this, diving up on the inside. Rick Lloyd's going to make a move for the lead and he grabs the advantage. Fantastic move up on the inside then. The Morgan goes ahead of the Chevrolet. John Bussell is third, then the next of the Camaro's fourth. Arthur Thurtle ahead of Ricky Can fifth in the Aston. A replay of what befell Richard White at the Old Hairpin on the opening lap. Nips up the inside of the Snorkel Lotus there of Pat Thomas, the ex-John Miles car. I'm afraid, though, Richard White loses it. And the one that really had to stamp on the brakes and dodge around was John Shoesmith in the Camaro. Now there, Arthur Thurtle's car starting to smoke very severely indeed. Down towards Redgate Corner, in and amongst the traffic now. Andy Rouse making a move back on Rick Lloyd for the lead. Is he going to get past the Morgan? The Morgan goes wide, and Rouse goes through once more into the lead of the race. But look behind them. John Bussell going great guns then in the E-Type. He's running virtually now with the top two who are holding each other up by dint of battling like this. This is one of the beauties of the Heritage Grand Touring Car Challenge. Great variety. And the way that the modification works out, you can have the Camaros battling with Morgans, and then Rick Lloyd held up by the little Cooper S there that was getting in the way. That was Mark Forster's car. Everybody darts around him. But now look, John Bussell right on the tail of Rick Lloyd. The leading trio comes through McLean's, 4 times British Touring Car champion. Andy Rouse leads. Rick Lloyd is second, and then third, John Bussell with the E-Type. John Bussell, a former Porsche champion, and he's ideally suited to racing classic sports cars. He knows all about them, does a lot of instructing on track days and the like. And around here, John Bussell really keeping the two leading drivers honest. They come up now to that Robin North's immaculate Jaguar XJC in a straight line, though. Now John Bussell dropping back a little bit as up the inside now. Goes once again the Morgan of Rick Lloyd. He's going to go through, is he? Yes! Uses a bit of the curb, but through he goes once again, back ahead of Rouse, and John Bussell being caught up in the traffic. That enables the top two to break away now. The next target is Tim Bryant's Porsche 911 heading down towards Redgate. Rick Lloyd moves through easily on the inside of the traffic. Right up behind him you can see that is Andy Rouse. Further back out of the chicane goes the Cooper S of Rich Hawcroft, then Jamie Booth, then Peter Lloyd in the E-Type. Next up is Bob Searles, and there number 8, the former TVR chairman, Peter Wheeler, as they come over the line now. And Peter, who's too tall to get into a classic TVR, hence he has to buy an Aston, is right on the back of Bob Searles' much newer car. The V8 ahead of the DB4 then as they go around Redgate and now to the top of the Craner curves once again. Jamie Booth powers down through the Craners, heading towards the L hairpin, and now Bob Searles comes up to lap Rich Hawcroft in the minispares.com Cooper S. He nipped past him, and Peter Wheeler needs to sort out the traffic and try and make a move on Bob Searles, but he's been hung out to dry on the outside there by the Cooper S, and that's cost Peter Wheeler some time. Gordon Streeter's Ford Anglia, heading the Classic Saloons class, emerges from the chicane. And Andy Jenkinson now rumbles his way up over the line, forsaking Aston Martins this year in favour of the Chevrolet Camaro. Is he going to be able to lap on the inside there, the Anglia? He should be able to as they turn now to the top of the Craners once again. No, Gordon Streeter, for the moment, stays ahead of him. Now the angle box is going to have to give way, and through goes Jenkinson. And his next target, though, is quite a long way up the road. So let's see whether he can make any further progress before the end of the race. comes down towards the Old Hairpin. He runs in Class D for the full race, modified over 4.6 litre cars, and that in the gravel is Roy McCarthy's MGB. Now, Roy McCarthy is something of a star in that car normally, and I'm afraid he's had gearbox problems already, and now he's got lots of gravel to contend with, and he is going no further. Out of the car he gets, shuts the door. Now there, from the back of the grid, is Graham Bryant. He started flat last on the outside of the 17th row of the grid, and he's working his way up from 34th. He's in the top 10 and should be able to make even more progress before the end of the race, I reckon. Down towards Redgate he goes, the Morgan going great guns here. Race leaders down towards the chicane. They're still side by side, but Rouse has the inside line for the corner. He's going to be able to hang on to the lead this time, although Rick Lloyd is not falling away. Andy Rouse having to work really hard there to try to hang on to this advantage. Rick Lloyd behind him as they power their way now up over the start and finish line. It's a 20-minute race rather than a set number of laps. Jeff Kimber-Smith's Cortina isn't going to see the end, though. I'm afraid mechanical problems have put him out of the race. The two race leaders, though, still nose to tail, diving down through the Craner curves as they're locking up, just missing the Lotus, and skating up the escape road is the Shelby GT350 Mustang owned by Jonathan Bloom, the value of which, I'm afraid, has just been decreased by having that traffic cone stuck under the front of it. It heads to the pit lane. Meantime, working their way through the traffic, Rouse and Lloyd on the last lap of the race now. The 20 minutes will have elapsed the time they get to the start and finish line this time through, and therefore the checker flag is at the ready as Rick Lloyd power slides his way out of coppice, but that loses him time to Rouse, and I think Andy Rouse at long last has now just about been able to build up something of a lead. Down towards the chicane they come. Lots of traffic ahead of Andy, though, which means they're all going to bunch up once again because Rick Lloyd's going to be with him when they come out of the chicane. Rouse darts up the inside of Jamie Booth's TVR. Checkered flag at the ready. Rouse wins. Robin North spins at the last corner. Andy Rouse wins the first Heritage Grand Touring Car Challenge race of the season, and Robin North has to sort himself out in the immaculate Jaguar XJC. Meantime, Andy Jenkinson here, powering his way down towards the chicane. He's on target for 5th place. He's about to put a lap on the Lotus Elan there. The Elan ducks out of the way. That's Will Thornton's car as Andy Jenkinson now powers his way through. He's going to be 5th behind Ricky Can. And significantly, 6th from last on the grid is Graham Bryant, and that puts that